accounts get connected, get hijacked, and things get screwy, and they blame Twitch for it. So yeah.
Right, but then the problem is when I'm in Florida. I don't have my little booklet with all my passwords. I have no idea how to get onto Twitch.
You have a password app. That's what you have a password app for.
Yeah, I gotta get one of those.
Oh yeah, you have to.
I'd have to install it on my. But I got a laptop, a desktop, a cell phone, and a tablet. Mm-hmm. So I gotta constantly.
Yep, that's why you need a passport app. Passport app. That's modern day tools that we all need.
Yeah. So, anyways, I can't see the chat, so you guys have to feed the questions.
Okay. Yep.
You can't see chat. Okay.
Well, it's because I can't seem to get on Twitch via my tablet. So I don't remember my Twitch login.
Okay. It's not a big deal. Definitely not a big deal. We'll make do.
Yeah.
Reset my Twitch password. Yeah, because when you're on Zoom, otherwise I used to have two screens at home, so I would have Twitch on one screen and have Zoom on the other. But I don't.
Now you're on a laptop or something.
Or a laptop, yeah.
You can always put it on your phone.
No, that's what I'm trying to do, but I don't remember my password.
Oh.
But actually, I have a tablet, cell phone.
Sound okay, everyone out there? Can you hear me clearly? Always got to do that sound check. What's up, Mike? How are you?
Hey, Mike. How are things?
Good. Glad to hear sounds good. That makes my life a lot easier. As we hit this button here. Woo!
Are we already live?
We're just in Preludes. We're in Preludes.
Yep.
We got some time.
So now you can spill all the secrets that you want everybody to not know. or kind of know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's a secret. We need a topic for number 99 before 100, so...
Yeah. So caught up in the planet, so for me it will only be Earth, the planet, that will be the topic. Otherwise someone else has to come up with something better.
I threw out a bunch of ideas in the chat.
Okay, that's good, yeah. Because I know if you do an episode of the planet, it would just be a disagreement, but we'll see, yeah.
Oh, Coma, Rift Canyon show will, that will mean bringing Casey back on the show, and I'm not sure if I can stomach that yet. I'm just kidding. But, no.
Yeah, Rift Canyon is interesting, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if we can do an entire show on it, could we?
I can talk about it for 2 hours, and then people contradict me, and then we have another 2 hours. So
oh my gosh. I do a whole Bandit Kingdoms Rift Canyon show, I think. The history of the area. What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say Rift Canyon will be a geographic show, kind of. That is questions. So, and there's conflicting ideas about that, just like a lot of.
Oh yeah, I mean it just doesn't make sense, the depth and all that stuff, you know. So should be a little, but you know, that's for another time, another place. No, Patrick, I got mail today, but it was something I ordered. I got my 2 I-1s, and I got one right out to Lo, who won one. So, but I did get yesterday an X4. So, and then that was yesterday. So, thank you. Yep. Shrubberies. Yeah, shrubberies and kumquats. Yeah, we could do a whole. I could do a whole show on that, I guess. Yeah. No. Hey, good evening. We're starting to crank it up here. So, you know, I know we spoiled you all, but it sounds warped. That's got to be them, Patrick. It's got to be them warping it for some bizarre reason.
Okay.
So it's clear on this end.
Well, we can't hear it. So.
Yeah, unless you have Twitch on there. What's up, long shot? Yeah, it's got to be on. It's got to be for that reason. Twitch is always doing weird stuff, even though you know it. Oh, that's alright. Another shrubbery. Yep. Nah, it's Monty Python's awesome. So I know we've spoiled everyone with, let's see, last Wednesday with Eric and Jason and James on, and then Zeb on Sunday. So
Yep.
tonight we just have a very, very special personality guest on. So, and we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully we don't get the 7-day ban.
Is that a challenge?
No, that's not a challenge.
Never know with those who get us into trouble.
Oh yeah. Well, that could happen. Still to come out from Infinite Dimensions from that Kickstarter, and we're also working on getting our printer back up. Oh, you can get 7-day bans Canadian for a lot of things. Saying the wrong word, doing something graphically explicit, you know. So there's always something you can do.
Talking about that thing in a pleasant way.
I don't think we'll have any issues with badmouth back home, especially. So, what's up, Mike? I feel like I forgot to do something, and I always hate that feeling. You know?
Yeah.
I hate that feeling, but you know, if I forgot to do something, it's on me. Just I get that weird feeling. Woo! Hopefully everyone's good tonight. It's only 7:54. Nah, I think I'm good. I think we're good with all that stuff. I forget which. Maybe it's a shout out. I don't know. I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling. So tonight, we've done back Looney, we've done Flam, we haven't done Iridians, so but we're gonna hit that Suel tonight. an education for me. I don't know probably as much as I should.
Same goes here. I don't know as much as I should either.
That's just Patrick. Scarlet Brotherhood's just one aspect of them, which is okay. There's a place for everyone in Grayhawk. Just with limitations, of course. Of course. Everyone. Of course. Tim is enthralling everyone over there on the blue box now, talking about weaponry and stuff. So, yeah, there is. Hopefully, we're a couple minutes early, so people are still coming on, which is cool. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, killing and slaying is Tim's element. Yeah, you're absolutely 100% correct there. That's where Tim thrives. I don't think they're based on either. All right, here we come. Coming on. I gotta hit the right button. Hit the right button. Hit the right button. I hit the right button. Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? I'm Jay Killer Gazumba, and with me, as always, is the great Anna Meyer.
Hello.
And the fantastic Grayhawk Mike Bridges.
Howdy.
And our very special guest tonight, the Suel purist / skull-crushing Eclavdra person, Lord Brezen himself. Good
Lord
evening,
Brezen.
Lord Brezen.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Lord Gazelle. First of all, thank you for inviting me to Altamira to come speak with you.
Well, it's a pleasure.
I very rarely come onto this side of the Lord knows, to be honest.
Well, it's understandable.
Yeah, but you're fortunate. I was on my way to visit Queen of Lands, so I figured I would swing by and say hi. I have a little gift for the Queen. As you mentioned earlier, I crushed Eclavdra, so I have her skull. So I'm going to deliver that to Celine as a gift.
Oh, man. That would be wonderful. It's too bad that it was done in Amy's game and not mine. So, but that's okay. Because you still don't know if it's the real Eclavdra, right? Theoretically, Amy could pull a fast one on you in that game, but that was pretty cool. So
I'll get the reward twice for killing her twice.
That's it. Absolutely. So, Lord Brezen, where do you hail from?
I actually come from Grand March.
Really?
Yeah.
Would not have guessed that.
Well, my uncle is the Baron of Shibboleth, and my father is a major noble in the Barony of Shibboleth.
I would have never known that. Never would have known that. I would have expected you would have been an eastern side map dweller, but so you're in Shibboleth in the Grand March. So if we pull out of here from Altamira, we can go over to the Grand Marsh here.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Barony of Shibboleth here.
Correct.
Yeah. One thing, Anna, I'll say, I think I need a higher map megs on this. This one takes a lot longer to crisp as I move it around than the other one, so I may need to do that. See, it's not up. See, there it goes.
Yeah.
It's taking a couple seconds extra. Where in Shibboleth are you from?
So on the eastern side of the barony.
Okay.
Eastern half of the barony pretty much is ruled by my father to a certain extent.
Okay, so we're talking about this area here?
Correct.
Oh, wow. I don't see anything on the map here.
Yeah,
Separate.
I'm quite unhappy with your map maker, Anna. She didn't take down my estate.
Yep.
I'll have a little talk with her after.
Need to work on that. Yep.
Afterwards. But I'm very happy to I have one of our maps that I have when I purchased it in Hook Hill a few years ago. It's quite well done. And I also see you brought the rebel scribe, Mike of Grayhawk, up from retirement just to take my words.
Well, yeah. Well, he's
Scribe well, Mike. Scribe well. As you know, my words are extremely valuable.
Uh-huh.
well, he's always of high value, right? Whatever Mike does. Oh, look at that! Perfect timing. Here comes Blue Box in too. So
Hey, welcome.
Excellent. Even more of your peasants have come to listen to me speak.
yes, they have. And my guess is that most of them are nowhere near of soul pure blood. There. My guess is that most of them are, like all of us, mixed breeds here, for the most part. Thank you so very much, John, for the raid in. Hopefully, you had a great show with the ever mysterious Tim, scaring the crap out of everyone with how weapons really work, which is, like I said, I've known Tim for 41 years and never ceases to amaze me what you get out of that guy. And then thank you for the follow here. And look at that. So tonight is about the Suel, culture, history, the Suel. We have very special guest, Lord Brezen. We're in his area of the Grand March, which is on the map here, and it is like we need to get some content in this area. So. But trying to get some things going here, some background. So, how was Lord Brezen created, by the way? Why don't you give us some background on the creation of yourself? Where did you come from? Storyline.
So my father fell in love with my mother, and they had sex, and I was created that way. Like most people, but
Genius.
I don't know about who you're created. I'm assuming it's in a vat somewhere. But most other humans are created pretty much by men and women breeding together.
Oh man, he is a feat. He is a feat, isn't he? We're gonna have this all night. So on a character creation level, background for the character, like what did he do for a living beforehand? Where was he? What was his goals? How long has this character existed in the alternate world of real life? Those kind of things. So, just curious. Give a little background because this character appears in the Grey Chat a lot.
By my sources, he should be lawful neutral.
Okay.
Well, I don't understand what lawful neutral means, but I am a follower of many laws. I am part of the Grand March military. I was actually trained at the Sherlock Academy, which is the Grand March Academy for mages. We focused mostly on battle magics. My father, when I was born, since I've been born, instilled a lot of sense of duty. And so I joined the military at 16, like all other males from Grand March. Basically a 7-year stint, and into my 6th year of serving in the Grand March military. Got my training, like I said, into magic at the Sherlock. I fought on in the northern side against the Cataclysms for a little bit. I also worked mostly in the lands of Joff against the Giants.
So, Lord Brezen, you go in and out just a hair. So, if you got a headset on or a mic, you may want to project a little bit better, just a hair more.
Yeah, you come and go. Yeah.
Come and go.
Coming and going just a little bit. See, I knew it. I got Casey already. He's put drawing in, and I haven't even done it yet. So I got Casey already right off the bat there. By the way, Lord Brezen has no access to the Twitch chat, so for questions, we're going to have him. I will give them directly because of Lord Brezen is currently in a bizarre place called Florida. So let me start the giveaway up now. So this is what we're going to do at minimum tonight, everyone. CSL Entertainment. This is a community giveaway courtesy of Troy Cannibal. $25 gift certificate to CSL Entertainment's great online store. So that almost gets you this and the PDF, if you don't have it yet, of My Horror and the Hools. You can get that shipped to you. What a wonderful, hey, I'm sorry to toot my own horn, but you can also get the 9 or Cavik's Cove or any of the other modules that are available at CSL Entertainment's site. And so let me just link this up here if you want to go to their store. It's right there. A wonderful, wonderful thing. Rich Lord Brezen, you have one of the first dual signed copies of this, don't you?
Correct. It was shipped to me via Griffin Wire many moons ago.
There you go. Excellent to hear.
So I have some good news. One of my magelings has arranged for me to have the ability to send back and forth some magical messages. So I now have access to what you call a chat, which is basically the rabble talking amongst themselves.
That's good.
Accurate.
So here's a question, Lord Brezen. In your creation, why pure blood Suel? And not because your parents, but why go that route for the character?
Well, I wanted the best race, right? And it was quite obvious. So I selected pureblood Suel because everything else is a little bit a work in progress, if you will. Like, I'm not saying the Radiants of Flan and the Omen are not equal to the Suel. They're just trying to get there. And they need a little maybe a lot of help. So when those races step up a little bit, they'll be even with the Suel. But I wasn't around to wait for them to catch up.
Okay. In terms of gameplay, where are you on the scale? Are you a lord? Are you an initiate? Are you a militiaman? Are you a captain? Where roughly?
Lord Major of the Grand March.
Okay. So, is the Grand March, and I did not notice, is the Grand March a Suel or Suel Iridian, or I thought it was a Suel Iridian mix? So am I incorrect?
It's a mix.
Okay, it's a mix. Okay, but your father.
I'm being told that my audio is not that good.
That was good. It's real good right there. It's real good right there. Yeah.
Right there, but it comes and goes.
Yeah, right there. It's real good.
Still comes and goes.
Yep.
Right there, it's good. You're good right now.
Stay there. Don't move.
Wait.
Now we got bad again. Now you moved.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Now it's terrible.
What's this?
Now it's better.
Yeah.
I haven't
Now it's perfect.
There you go.
Stay there. Don't move. Stay there. Don't move.
You know, I blame my palanquin carriers. I told them.
Yeah, you need a better squire that keeps up with you if you move. So yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty. I picked them up maybe a month or two ago.
Tell me, they were cheap. You found them somewhere behind the fence somewhere. They were cheap, so you didn't pay them much. Yeah.
And one's shorter than the other three, so I'm always at an angle. It's quite embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another question. Are you a member of the Knights of the Watch?
No.
Okay. Are you the member of any knighthoods?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I don't go into joining.
Okay. No joining. I got it. All right.
I mean, I'm part of the academy. I'm part of the army. That's enough for me. I got my own people to take care of my estates, and the watch is going to take me away from all that.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting slammed on here. Cannibal just said Backlunish magic would have let him speak anywhere. Suel magic is inferior with a bunch of dots. Oh man, them's are fighting words tonight here. So
I agree, because the Bacluni are full of hot air, so they're everywhere. The Suel are more subtle. We don't go into the big shows and have to have everybody listen to us and hear us speak. Our wisdom is so renowned that we can whisper it on the wind and people will pick it up.
All right, so we got a question that, please don't be as condescending as you possibly can, but Mattias is asking, what are the Suel in Grayhawk terms for the layman or newcomer to Grayhawk?
So the Suel are a human race. We're the first people. After us, some secondary lesser copies were created amongst the Radians, the Flan, the Olm, and the Tuv. So those are these four other human races. There's a Suel in those four.
He didn't count the Backlunish.
No, they're a goblin mix. They don't count.
Of course.
Okay.
So the first human race. Now, the thing you have to understand with this Suel is pride is one of our most important features. We take great pride in the works we do, in who we are, our magical abilities. Everything we do is about excelling. So when you speak to a Suel and he's a mage, he's excelling to be the best mage possible. As a blacksmith, he wants to be the best mage and best blacksmith possible. As a warrior, we tend to prefer individual success. The Arabians prefer group success. They work together well, but they're like ants. They're not going to really stand out. Each Suel is an individual champion, a champion of goodness and of martial prowess. So that's pretty much why we've been so successful through all our trial and tribulations. I mean, it's been quite horrendous what we've had to suffer through the last few years with that awful scribe who wrote this
Yeah,
horrible propaganda, claiming that we're vile and all this.
Yeah.
You're up and down, Rich, man. Or Lord Brezen, we're losing you a little bit here.
Yeah, you need to stay out of the pool. Meaning
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't know if it's the
now it's
mic
perfect.
or what
Now
it
it's
is.
perfect. Now it's perfect.
Just-
Don't move.
If you just talk loud, and I'll tell you if you're yelling or not. That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's good.
So we got to a level 4 hype train. So gift
Yep.
number 1's that gift certificate. Number 2, courtesy of Patrick, Canadian Ancient Gamer, we're going to give away this Roger Moore Grayhawk The Adventure Begins, which is 2.5, right? Grayhawk 2.5, pre-3rd edition.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do that as well as the second. So we got 2 tonight. All right. There you go.
I wonder if this weird Zoomy thing that I am on is not using my actual installed mic, but using
You might switch to, if you have another mic, see if you can switch to it.
Yeah, you want to click on the bar to the left and just make sure it's using the proper mic. So, all right, while he checks that, everyone, tonight, Mike, what do you want to say about the Suel? I mean, no, seriously, as far as like a starting point here for this discussion.
Well, I might throw out real quick for anyone who wants to know more about the.
How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
Yep. Oh,
super
yes,
clear.
much better.
All right. It was using my laptop mic.
There we go. Problem is solved.
There we go.
Yep, much better. Now we can hear you.
Grayhawk Player's Guide,
Yeah.
second edition. Check that out. That's the best source for playing Suel, I believe.
Okay, the second edition Grayhawk Player's Guide. There you go.
Mhm.
Ooh, okay.
All right, excellent.
I haven't read that one in a while, so I need to.
Oh, it's full of really neat little tidbits.
Oh yeah, yep, it's good. Yep.
Excellent. Anna, what about you and Suel?
And now I'm going to be provocative here. I think we need to wrap up there, saying that the Suel are the one that peaked early in history, so to speak. Meaning, and meaning the other one, Lord Brezen, you said that the other ones haven't peaked yet, but then I counter and say, well, the Suel peaked a long time ago, and now they're digging themselves out of the hole they dug themselves into, and so it's kind of interesting to see that the Suel might come back sometime in the far distant future if they get their act together again, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, the Suel peaked for those 6,000 years of the empire.
Yeah, and then you screwed over everybody else, including yourself, and now
it just lasted 6,000 years, and about 400 or 500 years where we were a little bit of a lull, and now we're peaking again. But it's okay. I mean, the Iridians were fabulous. The Iridians built their great kingdom, and within 400
now they're on the decline now too. So
400 years, they had infighting, devil worshipping, and basically destroyed each other. So yeah, I could see how you could compare a 6,000 year empire of the Suel with a 400.
Oh, that's so ancient. No one knows about it. It's just so.
So
Ragados.
Here's a question, another layman's question. Who did the Invoke Devastation and who did the Rain of Colorless Fire? Which did which?
Yeah,
which
that's
was
a very
first?
good question. Which one was which? Yep.
Well, the Suel cast the Invoke Devastation after Great Divination told us that the Bakluni were preparing something.
Okay.
And then the Bakluni cast the Rain of Colorless Fire.
Okay.
And I know this is sometimes difficult for people to understand, so I'm going to put it a little bit of peasant terms because you have a lot of rabble listening. So let me tell you the story of this knight who eventually married a princess. It's Sirhan of Solo. So Sirhan of Solo was once in a conversation with some sort of green-skinned humanoid, maybe a Kuatoan and whatnot. And Sirhan knew that this humanoid was going to attack him. And so he decided to shoot first. And that's basically what the Suel did. We knew the Bakluni were coming for us. So much like Sir Han of Solo, who eventually married the beautiful princess, the Suel took the initiative and cast Invoke Devastation.
Awesome. And then got the rain of colorless fire brought down upon them as well. So,
yes, and you'll notice, of course, that the Suel, just a handful of mages of great power, were able to cast this Invoke Devastation, blasting through all the defenses of the Bakluni Empire. Their mages could do nothing against it. Their priests, basically complete devastation. And the Bakluni, of course, being ineffective, had to pray for their gods, and it took the gods themselves to slow down the Suel Imperium. I mean, yes, they turned a little sea of dust there, but as you know, the Suel then went eastwards and founded Kielland and the Duchy of Ernst and the Grand March and many other states, the barbarians up in the north. And, well, we did have one or two bad apples, and they went to the Tilvanot. But, everybody has a few bad apples, and we don't really count them. So, but that's pretty much it.
So as Phantom just says, this Sea of Dust is just a minor setback, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, it's a minor setback. Yeah,
it's a minor setback.
Just take a million years to rectify it again.
So can you trace your lineage all the way back to this passage of Slorotin right here?
Correct. My family are the Rolgran. The Rolgran is an offshoot of the House of Rolla, one of the 12 houses that entered the tunnel. Well, the 12 major houses.
The one that locked in all the other ones that didn't make it through. The one that murdered half their population. The breed that really stood out and took initiative, killed off the rest, and then fled.
Well, that's not exactly accurate. We had a little bit of advance notice, so we prepared the camp. You
were the smart ones. You were the smart, powerful, greedy ones that survived. It's the way Suel should be. A real strong, pure Suel always knows how to survive and how to come out first.
Like I said,
no matter what the odds are.
We had anticipated that Bakluni were going to cast a preemptive strike and wipe us out. So we had prepared caravans. Many of our houses had prepared just on the west side of the tunnel. Slorotin spent.
You made the tunnel before you struck. That's genius.
Yep. So
that's really smart.
We were ready for when the rain began falling. Cast the tunnel and our caravans. I mean, otherwise we would have been completely unprepared, and nobody.
You would be like the Baklunish, completely unprepared.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we left a couple of their estates to the north near the water, right?
Isn't it kind of weird that the Baklunish were taken by surprise? They were not prepared. They had no defenses, nothing, but still they were the ones that were planning for war and preparing for war to strike you. It's never struck you as weird?
They had been attacking our northern border for many, many years.
Okay, yeah.
You think a line of mountains would be enough to keep them out, but no, they kept coming, and after repeatedly trying diplomacy.
So you went from diplomacy and then we wiped them all out, killed them all. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's a Suel way to do it. Yep.
So even Big Mac is like, wait, so the Suel built a tunnel.
This is awesome.
Even Big Mac is like questioning. Oh man, that's funny. This is classic.
Yep.
Yeah. So all right, I have a couple questions for Lord Brezen.
Yep.
So is your family 100% pure Suel to this day?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. 2.
Now you need to understand, right? The Suel are a very loving people. And so you are going to have many people in the Grand March and Kielland that are mixed of different human races and whatnot. But the nobility tends to marry amongst themselves so that the wealth
they're very loving, but only loving people that look like them.
No, that's not true. In the Sheldamar Valley, there are many Iridian and Suel mixes. It's just that the Iridian noble houses tend to marry amongst themselves, and the Suel noble houses tend to marry amongst
That's
themselves.
probably going for a lot of other noble houses too.
That's correct.
So,
just
Lord,
because you want to keep the land amongst amongst the nobility, right? You don't want it to go amongst the peasants because they wouldn't know what to do with it. They'd get all confused and in a castle, it turn into some sort of sheep pen or something. So, you know, we try to marry amongst the nobility.
So, Lord Brezen, I have to ask this question: if you were in my world, and we see my the Winchester estate here, they are of Suel Iridian mix. Where did they go wrong? The Winchester.
Oh, they didn't go wrong. You maybe you were lucky enough and found some Iridians that were less undesirable and married into it. So that's acceptable.
Okay.
It's not like you married a Bacluni, right? Then you'd be like half orcs or something.
But we've heard all the stories about the Winchester, so we know that they were aiming fairly high or low.
Exactly.
I mean, you say
even Anna's zapping me tonight. This is great.
Yeah, but you always heard all the horror stories of the Winchesters, so we know that they aimed fairly well for being Suel, so to speak. Yeah.
That's good. All right, so Rob asks, who took the blame for the invoked devastation being so underpowered as let the Bacluners survive to have the rain called down? Oh,
true facts.
So this is where it gets interesting. So when the invoked devastation was cast, the area targeted went only to the heart of the Bacluni Empire. I mean, we're not savages, right? We just took out if you go up to the map, you'll notice they took out to a certain distance. They left the provinces, the northern provinces along the coast, northern Zeef, and then up until Ekbir. So those lands were undisturbed. So the Bacluni had settlements there. They had villages along the coast, and those parts were not destroyed. The issue is that when we hit the heart of the empire, Tovag Baragu, which is a stone circle, almost like the Flan circles are, was spared. And many Bacluni priests and mages hid there under the shelter of their gods. And then once the invoked devastation ended, they pleaded with their gods to call down retribution on the Suel Empire.
Payback.
So the strike was accurate. Unfortunately, the Bacluni gods were a little bit jealous of the power of the mages in the Suel Imperium. So they gave a little bit of advance warning to their people. And due to the hubris of the mages of power, the Bacluni gods hit us with the rain of colorless fire.
Okay. Hopefully that answers your question there, Rob.
Thanks for asking.
Mike's Retro Gamer says, this is what happens when you inbreed too much. Well, you never know. So, okay. So some other questions I have for Lord Brezen here. And
this is good.
Who do you revere? Who's your main deity that you revere?
We all revere Lendor as our creator god, but I particularly worship Ouijas, or Ouija.
Or
as
Ouija.
the great Archmage Lendor pronounces it.
Okay.
Yep.
Ouija. All right. So a very prevalent Suelese deity.
And one interesting fact is that Ouija is the only god of death that is respectful and not evil amongst the Flanes.
Well, that's depending on your point of view of Ouija, isn't it? She can be very kind of mean and vile when she wants to be, but most of the time she's magic and death. But when she needs to bring
legend tells that she was just a goddess of magic until the rain of colorless fire, and so many Suel died, she became a death god.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Unfounded rumors.
Okay. Good to see you, Mark. That's Mike. You taught me something I did not know. That's legend.
Cool. Yep.
Go ahead, Anna.
As Amy said as well, she's also the goddess of vanity, because as I stated earlier, the biggest asset the Suel have is pride in our accomplishments, pride in our looks and whatnot. And so most of our gods are somehow related to beauty. or looks or perfection. If you will. Even our death goddess is about vanity.
I think it is, especially the death goddess, meaning a dead enemy is a beautiful enemy, and you need to make sure that they stay dead.
Cord,
Yeah.
Beltar, Cyril, Blurg.
Phaeton. Phaeton is a goddess, a god of agriculture as well as beauty.
Phaeton is a beauty god, yeah.
Yeah,
So let's
a
see
lot
if
of
I
beauty
can.
gods. There's a lot of vanity in the soul. You have to make sure you polish on your perfection. Yeah.
I should have. There we go. There's our boy Phaeton.
Okay.
Len had a thing for making very, very pretty looking gods, didn't he? But then he had very ugly looking and evil,
Yeah.
vile looking deities as well.
Proto
So
myths.
here we go. Here we go is with Ouija, and
Yeah.
you said Beltar, which is Beltar is the queen of the vileness in the Suel pantheon.
Malice, pits. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, there she is.
Uh-oh.
So
Yeah.
beholders too, right? I mean, all sorts of vileness. And then you have some interesting deities like Zerbo. You have multiple sea deities, which I find interesting with the Suel culture, starting with they were land-based to start for the most part.
Yeah.
So this is where you're incorrect.
Okay.
The Sea of Dust had an outlet to the south, to the sea,
Okay.
which is why
Zerbo.
our trade god is Zerbo. So Zerbo is the god of trade. He is the equivalent of Zilchus, if you will.
Okay.
Because wealth for the Suel came from the sea and the rivers and the lakes. So the Sea of Dust had some large inland lakes leading out to the southern seas, because a lot of the trade was done along that route. So, which is why Zerbo is the god of trade amongst the Suel.
Okay. So Zerbo's got a trade, but Osprey is just the goddess of the sea.
Rivers and lakes.
Rivers. Okay.
Ships and voyages.
Okay.
And voyages, correct.
Okay.
Which explains, so when we go on long voyages, and again, unlike Farland, which is a land-based deity of voyages, the Suel, because so much of our culture is around the oceans and the water, our voyages are more aquatic, more naval, which is why our goddess of voyage is associated with water.
Okay. So Jim Seguia asks, I wonder if Lord Brezen knows how Beltar got kicked off the list of acceptable gods. Len said that she is basically not worshipped, at least not any longer. I think that's just by humans, right? She's worshipped by monsters, correct?
Oh, right.
Correct.
Yeah, because she is so vile, I believe. So
I think it's more because she doesn't look good.
all right, so your main reverence is Lendor, right?
That is our creator god. So
Creator
this
god
is
is Lendor,
an interesting thing. I said earlier that the Suel were the first people, and it's because of Lendor that we're the first people, because the Flan worship Biori, right? Who is the goddess of Earth, if you will,
right?
Representing nature and the planet. Now you'll notice that there are other planets. If you look up in the sky, there are moons, there are planets, there are many. So there are many of these Bioris spread throughout the multiverse, if you will. But Lendor is the god of time. And until time existed, nothing else did.
Okay.
And Suel come from Lendor. So the Suel were the first people.
Okay. Makes sense to me. I'm just I'll go along with anything you say here, Lord Brezen, because I'm a novice when it comes to in-depth Suel culture. Here's a couple of deity questions while we're on them. What is behind this deity being like Dwarvish, Suel and Dwarvish for Tubo?
So for Tubo, so you were asking why is it that the Suel gods did not give sufficient support to the Suel when the Rain of Colorless Fire came. Remember I was talking about those bad apples? So in the Suel Imperium consisted of many houses, and the houses vied with each other for preeminence within the empire. The empire was much less of a tyrannical empire and more of many, many houses, each sharing power and having certain areas of specialties, but pretty much self-contained. Think of it as multiple mini kingdoms in the empire.
Okay.
And each one had strengths and weaknesses, and many were good houses, but there were a few houses that were a little bit less good. Let's call them nasty. Okay, just to taint them a little bit. So these nasty houses began experimenting on creatures such as the dwarves, and their intentions were good. I mean, they just wanted to create better dwarves, right? Dwarves that were more accommodating to working.
Okay.
For the betterment of the empire, right? The dwarves tend to be a little bit stubborn. You know, they want to get paid and stuff when they do work. So
more efficient dwarves.
yes, more efficient dwarves.
Yep.
Unfortunately, these bad apples made some mistakes, and the Darrow were created. Instead of being accommodating dwarves, we got crazy dwarves, which didn't quite work out, right? And that's the problem when these houses go off on their own, right? That's why we have to work communally together, right? Which is what we've done in Sheldamar. The houses have decided to work together.
Do what the Iridians and others do, and not stay heroic, like you said in the beginning.
Well, we don't worship devils and demons and whatnot, and have basically thrones dedicated to the hells in our empire. But if the Iridians want to go that way, that's fine. And obviously the Flan had all the worshipping of the dead and necromancy and all the liches. Yeah. But let's not count that. We could call them good people as well to a certain extent. But so the some of these houses created Darrow. So Fortubo took offense to that. Fortubo, he always had a little bit of affinity with the dwarves, since they were very good blacksmiths and miners and whatnot. So he turned his back on the Suel people, which is unfortunate. Now, as luck would have it, we believe that the house that created Darrow was eliminated by the Rain of Colorless Fire. So they did not make it through the tunnel.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, there were maybe up to 20 different houses in the Suel, major houses in the empire, and only 12 made it through. Many minor houses made it through, and there were a lot of minor houses in the empire as well. So there might be some leftover Suel still living to the south, because that part was spared the Rain of Colorless Fire.
But it's part that's not really discussed in the World of Grayhawk setting, unfortunately. Correct?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know what this Grayhawk setting is, but if you go to the Cannon Fire Library in the city of Mitric, and there's much lore written about the south of Sea of Dust.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, I want to know about this deity. I never understood this deity, the god of industriousness, Brahm.
Yeah.
Well, like Lord Brezen was saying before, Suel are all about individuality and, self, being they're the best they can be. So naturally, they have a deity who's based on hive mind work ethic.
So this is where it gets interesting. So as we said, Phaeton is the god of agriculture and beautiful agriculture, right? We don't just plow the fields, we make sure it looks pretty as well, because nature has to be
conquering nature.
Nature has to be formed to be pleasing to the eye. Because when you find something that's pleasing to the eye, you take better care of it, and it grows better and produces more. Brahm is the ability to industrialize this. So when the farmer, each individual farmer is done, some of the goods need to make it to the big cities. And all this needs to be organized in a fashion where you don't step on each other's toes. And so Brahm is in charge of this industrialization of all this, making sure things run smoothly, the houses cooperate. It is what binds us a little bit in a more lawful structure. So remember that Lendor believes in structure. Time goes forward, it doesn't go back, right? And so he believes that structure needs to be in place and rules and whatnot. And this offsets the individual nature that the Suel have, so that we can work as a united empire while keeping our individualism in there. And you'll see that with Cord. So Cord is all about individual prowess in battle, which is what the Suel believe. We have to excel in battle on an individual scale, not as a fixed army, which is why Brahm is not associated with war.
Okay. So I found this interesting with Cord, but you have two brawler, chaotic, neutral type individualistic deities. You have Cord and you have Lurg.
So Cord is a good god.
Okay.
Chaotic good, to use your terms. Cord is all about individual prowess in battle and war, if you will. Lurg is more of a bestial impact. It's more hunting in the forests and pitting yourself against nature, whereas Cord is more pitting yourself against other sentient races such as humans and dwarves.
I always found that interesting.
Yeah.
With the two. A deity that I like, and I'm just keeping that up so I can just double click. This is one of my favorites of and that is Falcon, depending on how you pronounce it. So the god of the air and archery. So Lord Brezen, can you tell us a little bit about Falcon?
So Falcon is actually the second god of war amongst the Suel. So the Suel have Cord for melee fighting and Falcon for archery, which explains again the individual basis, right? So also chaotic as a god. So the Suel were very good at archery combat. So they would put volleys of arrows in the air prior to engaging in single combat with the foes. So he is about archery, is about hunting and war as well.
And he is the father of Cord too.
Correct.
See, what I like about this deity is so, I don't want to say the word arrogant is correct, but this deity is so sure of his abilities that if he goes into melee combat, all he uses is daggers. Doesn't even
wear a shirt.
Doesn't even wear doesn't wear a shirt. Hangs out, just uses that bow, and that's all he needs. So an interesting Dalt is a Iridian deity, antiquitous, right? Dalt is not a Suel deity.
Correct.
Yep. So let me see. I got a couple other ones here we did not discuss. We have. Let's go to some of the more Fowler ones here. Well, we didn't talk about Norabo too. Norobo's like the god of thievery, right?
Actually, no. He's the god of gambling and luck.
Oh, okay.
Many thieves. So the interesting thing about Norabo is that he's a risk taker, right?
Okay.
A good thief doesn't take risks. He plans his capers. So, but Lord Norabo likes the element of risk. If you're not taking risks, you're not worshiping him. So it's an interesting god.
From your experiences, Lord Brezen, have you ever traveled to a Church of the Big Game anywhere on the Farlands?
Yes, I have. there's several of them in the Grand March and in Keelan.
Okay. Are they very similar to the ones on Under Isle that is so well documented in The Secret of Bone Hill? Very similar.
Correct.
Okay.
I believe there's actually one in Salt Marsh.
There's one in Salt Marsh. Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Very interesting. So I'm just telling everyone out there, if one were to want to understand what a Church of the Big Game is all about, go to Lens. And I love, always remember all these deities you're seeing. These are all Len Kafka creations, and we miss him so much, from these discussions. But all right, very cool.
The interesting thing about Norabo is his priests actually run the House of the Big Gamble. So the casinos, if you will, are actually shrines or temples. So they have you'll find chapels in the back, praying areas in the back of these gambling casinos.
Awesome. Now to go to the, we've already done Beltar, but go to the darker side of some deities that are still worshipped by the and here's the big one, I think. And you pronounce it Cyril, Sorel? How do you pronounce her?
That's as you wish.
Okay.
Cyril. Yeah.
I go Cyril.
Any
myself.
insights
Yeah,
on
Cyril.
Cyril?
Yeah, I'll go Cyril.
Lies and deceit, correct?
Yes.
Ugliness.
I never met her.
Okay.
So
It's Cord's mom.
Yeah, which
Mother's
is
Day's coming up, by the way.
yeah.
so she's about lies, deceit, underhandedness.
Okay.
It is the negative side of having individual houses. So as to not destroy the empire, they rarely warred upon each other. Right? That's why it's called empire. So they had to fall upon other ways to compete. And this, unfortunately, is one of the aspects that some houses, those bad apples, as I was talking about, would use. They'd use deceit and trickery and lies to gain advantage over the more noble houses amongst the Suel.
You've enthralled the audience so much that we even have Alan Growy on tonight, the Grow Dog.
Dang.
Watching on there.
Awesome.
So yes.
Is he
Yeah.
a
Yep.
more
Well,
important peasant than the others?
What's that? Well, I just, to get the Grow Dog on the watching, you've enthralled this audience here, I think, so far.
So he's like a merchant, I guess. Like not a complete commoner, not
right. You're right. Yes. So the Grow Dog is
Middle class.
not a complete commoner there. So yes, Sure says you're killing it, and that is awesome. So here's another bizarre Pyremius. Another bad apple here, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, Pyremius, legend has it that he took fire from the goddess Renette. He killed her and took her portfolio as the Reign of Colorless Fire fell, which is why the Reign of Colorless Fire wasn't stopped, because the goddess of fire was slain right before, and so the power was in flux as Pyremius stole it. Because as you can imagine, fire and murder don't really mix. They're really two distinct abilities, right?
Yeah.
So as he killed Renette and stole her power, she was unable to prevent the Reign of Colorless Fire.
Ugh.
Sound reasonable.
Lastly, I got one left.
But I just want to say one thing, though.
Two left, actually.
I have heard, speaking of Renette, that there's a lost library dedicated to her somewhere in the Farlands.
Oh, really?
Yes. There is a sage known as the Carlos who has spoken of this library, and perhaps he knows where it's located.
Yes. I haven't seen the Carlos tonight, but once again, like I said, we're giving away a $25 gift certificate to the Carlos's treasure trove. So there you go.
Yeah.
One last one that we have not discussed. I think this is a good deity, and that is Jaskar.
Yes. So now this is strange, right? He's a volcano deity, correct?
I believe so.
Metals
and smithing and stuff, yeah.
Right. And you would think that he would overlap with Fortubo, which is perhaps why when Fortubo absconded to hang out with the dwarves, the Suel didn't feel the impact so much because we had him to step up and cover the slack.
Okay. Yep. He looks like one of those humans with dwarvish features as well. So
yeah.
And that
not at all. Not at all.
No.
He's a much so. Remember, I was explaining the beauty and whatnot. So the Suel have visions of female and male beauty. The female goddesses represent what the Suel view as a beautiful goddess. And amongst the males, you'll notice that they fall into two camps, either like Fulcon and Phaeton, clean shaven, slim, athletic, a little bit more thin. And then you have the Lurg, Cord, and Jaskar,
Right.
which are bearded, muscular, hairy, showing lots of hair as a sign of virility. So that's how the Suel have their male gods represented, the two aspects of beauty.
Oh,
Either,
I missed another good deity too. I missed Lydia.
absolutely. Another good
One of my
deity.
faves.
Lydia's knowledge, music, poetry.
Correct. The
Light.
the more gentle arts, if you will.
Yes, Patrick, you're really in there. That's funny. Yes. So now there's one I don't have a picture of, and Jason Puppet Dad brought it up, and that is the legendary missing deity from the Suel pantheon, the dreaded
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
Which is rumored to be or exist and rumored not to, depending on where you look. So, Lord Brezen, do you want us to give any commentary on the Aquaman?
So he comes out to be the third god of the sea, that the Suel. Once again, lending the more weight to the fact that the Suel are a seafaring people, and he is a more martial, more interesting, more adventurous sea god.
Sounds like it.
Two. Yeah.
And it's
rumored he can speak to fish as well.
I think if you want to look for him, you can look for him in L4 or L5. I'm not sure which one it is. Jason, if you remember which one it is, please let me know. If it's in L4 or L5, the Aquaman exists in. One that even
correct. He is greatly associated with the Lendor Isles.
Yeah, it's been both. Okay, thank you, Jason. Really appreciate it. Wow. So yeah, that is a quick deity.
Now, before we move on from the deities, you'll notice that there are almost twice as many good deities as there are evil deities in the Suel pantheon, and there's almost as many. There's a slightly more neutral than good, which goes to show that the Suel people predominantly worship good and neutral deities, which lends itself to the fact that they are a goodly folk, generally speaking.
One could infer that, I guess, right?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, one could infer that. But I will say this: if you look at those publications from Pluffett Smedger and all those as time passes,
the Iridian
right?
Iridian.
Only one or two have become mainstream in Grayhawk lore, and that is Ouija is the one that is mostly mainstreamed. Correct?
I don't know what you mean by mainstream.
Well, the one that they put in as a great
meaning accepted by the others.
Yes, accepted by others.
But the lore.
I guess you don't care about that, though.
The other human races?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps, but don't forget that Bokob is also a god of magic. Nero, god of death. So each of the different human races worship as needed.
Okay. Yes, so getting some interesting comments in here. Also made popular in the Lendor deity by Jethro Tullus, hey Aquaman. That's funny. Alex, that was funny. So, any other commentary you want to make on the deities of this? Mike, Anna, I know Lord Brezen's been on a roll.
This is this is more than I knew, so this is perfect. Yeah.
Impressive.
It is very impressive.
Yeah, my Suel credentials is not what they should be. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any reverence or respect for any of the other deities that are worshipped throughout these lands?
The non-Suel, you mean?
Yeah.
So you're talking Iridian and Flan and
like
Olin
Paylor or Bakab or whoever.
So Bokob, of course, being a mage, I have great respect for him.
Okay.
I do pray to him when creating new magic items.
Okay.
So the interesting thing, the difference in Bokob and Ouijas. So Bokob is the god of magic as a force.
Okay.
Almost like god of water, right? Whereas Ouijas is the goddess of implementation of that force. So if you want to create magic items or cast spells or apply magic, Weejas is the goddess you worship. Bokob, you worship him as just a general, uncaring god of the force of magic.
Okay.
As an element, if you will. Almost like fire as opposed to a volcano, or fire as opposed to a forge, if you will.
Interesting observation there. But that
now there are some other gods that are good. I mean, amongst the other races, but for every one god, you'll find an evil one, right? You're not going to worship Nero when you have Weejas, who's prettier and a bit better temperament, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. So I'm going to ask this on a grand scale. What do you think of Ayus?
The demigod, supposedly. Trumped up demon.
Okay.
I mean, you need to understand that the mages of power at the height of the Suel Imperium were more powerful than Ayus.
Okay.
They were almost demigods on their own. So he's not that important.
So you think he's go ahead, Anna.
Go on.
Go ahead, no, Anna, go ahead.
I was going to say, so he's like a come up tiefling that haven't found his home yet.
I don't know what a tiefling is, but if
exactly.
If you mean Cambion,
yes,
Cambion, yes, the trumped up Cambion.
Cambion or Aladdin,
Yep.
yeah. So he's a wannabe, is what you're saying, basically.
Correct. And look at who worships him, the Flan, the same people who gave us the occluded empire of Vecna, the necromancers of Trask, Nero. I mean, I wouldn't say they're Bacloony, but they're pretty bad. I mean, they're pretty bad.
Okay. So what do you think? Here's a question from Amy asked. Oh my gosh, now I can't find it. I know I saw it. What does Lord Brezen think of the rumored love between Weeja and Norabo? Well, that's...
so this is interesting. So the Suel believe that the gods and goddesses are representations of the humans that worship them. Weejas is attracted to Noribo's chaotic nature. You know, the opposites attract type of concept. So, you know, she's in this role of managing death and magic and the structures of magic, making sure it flows nicely and that death is organized so that when you die, your soul goes to the right place. She can't make a mistake. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen, right? You don't want your soul to end up as a larva in the hells because Weejas wasn't paying attention. That being said, she's still the goddess of vanity. And Noribo plays on this, plays up her vanity. And so she enjoys his company in a little bit of a carnal aspect.
If I might add, Lord Brezen, as you mentioned before, Noribo is the god of gambling and luck and whatnot. He's the only deity who would take a chance at approaching the unapproachable.
Absolutely. It reminds me of this noble woman I met in Neil Draw one year. Beautiful body, but she had a wicked temper, and quick with the knife too. And the other nobles were afraid of her and whatnot. And well, I think they were a little bit more afraid of her husband too. So one night I snuck my way into her bedroom, and I think the thrill really excited the passion within both of us. Luckily, her husband never found out exactly who was there, but his son does look very much like me. But, you know, that's a separate story.
Now we know how it's done in Suel circles.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So, wow. So if you have, going back in history, there have been a lot of tyrants of these lands. What do the Suel think of Vecna?
So the Suel, understand that we're a very varied opinion people. strong-willed, and each very opinionated in our own way. But generally speaking, remember I was explaining the sense of pride in self and the sense of being able to accomplish things on the individual level. Tyrants take that choice away from the people under them. Like you were talking about this Alan Grohe guy, right? This peasant, this merchant. I mean, he would not be allowed to exist under Vecna, right? He would just be a farmer or perhaps even a skeleton working the fields under Vecna. And
That's
the
an
Suel
existence too. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Suel are completely against that. We're very we accept and promote the individual being able to accomplish great things. I mean, to a certain extent, right? We don't want them to
Yeah,
be
not so
nobles.
great as Vecna.
Yeah.
Meaning a little bit less great than Vecna.
Yes, and
He was
maybe
too great.
not. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want a peasant to make it into nobility there, but too often because that might cause problems. But other than
Okay.
that,
So
the
peasants should stay
individual-
peasants. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, there's a certain order, but other than that, you know, the individuals should be allowed to succeed as they can.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this is awesome. So Gary Puffett-Smedger says, isn't it true that the Suel were about to pay tribute to Vecna until his Lieutenant Kosh struck him down his fell master? The Suel did not defeat him. He fell by accident. Wow.
You know, accidents tend to happen to people who mess with the Suel. Look at the Sea Princes, right? There's 27 of their rulers accidentally slipped and fell and hurt themselves and got killed.
Mike and I have
Very unfortunate.
Mike and I have no idea what you're talking about now.
So
that's not I don't have any idea what you're talking about, because if you go onto this map that we're looking right here, the Sea Princes are the Sea Princes. I don't see no red on this map, Lord Brezen. I'm sorry, because that is such fantasy. But that's okay.
So perhaps this Vecna had a similar accident, right? Remember we were talking about Cyril, right? The goddess of lies and deceit.
Mm-hmm.
A little lies, a little bit of deceit. The next thing you know, Cass just slips his little knife, his little sword into the Vecna when Vecna's not looking.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen, right? Things just happen when you mess with the Suel. Accidents.
Yes. Well, that could be it. He says he read it in the Chronicle of Secret Times, the true history of the Suel migrations. Who is the author of that?
It's probably some Meridian.
Yeah.
They always get it wrong. I mean, I was reading a census that gave a certain population figure, the Farlands, that written by Meridian. A few years later, another census comes out, numbers completely different, like 10 times almost. Back and forth, they forget to count the children, and the women are counted twice. I don't know what these Meridians do. They get things wrong all the time. I mean, thank God we got Grayhawk. We got Mike of the city of Grayhawk here to be a proper scribe to make sure things are properly recorded.
Yay me.
So, okay, a Silent One. Juhas of Nelly is the author of Silent One. He'd know.
He's Suel.
That's it. So here's it. So Mike, the Sea Princes, are they Suel Iridian mix? What are they?
I'd say they're majority Suel.
Majority
Like,
Suel. Okay.
A lot of first migration Suel too.
Yeah, they were close to the source, so to speak, when they inflow there. So
Yeah.
they kind of stayed Suel. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So they're also tough and independent and don't take lightly to be ruled and stuff. So yeah.
So as Mike was mentioning, Scribe Mike, there was something called the first wave, the first comers. Before the Reign of Colorless Fire, the Suel were expanding eastwards already. In dribs and drabs, the Duchy of Ernst was founded by these first comer families, the Sea Princes as well. A little bit of Keelan, there were some houses there as well already. So when the Reign of Colorless Fire hit, there was already some houses in the Farlands. And basically the second comers were from the Reign of Colorless Fire that spread a little bit further throughout the whole Farlands.
Okay, so they were migrating before all this catastrophes happened. So they
Correct.
Okay. How many years before Lord Brezen was that?
For hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years. Okay. Okay.
Which is interesting. So if you really want to look for lost lore, the Duchy of Ernst might have it, because these people got there before the Reign of Colorless Fire. They might have brought interesting items with them.
That is very interesting. to note that is a great adventuring idea for Ernst.
Correct.
So, do Ernst Suel consider himself superior to Grand March and Keolandish and wherever else Suel are? That's my question to you, Lord Brezen.
So, generally speaking, the Suel do not consider themselves superior. They consider themselves teachers and inspirational figures.
Okay.
For the others.
Okay. But I mean, Suel to Suel, the Ernst, do they have do they consider themselves better because they are pre-invoked devastation migration to?
Yeah, as I stated, all the Suel believe in individual pride and individual accomplishments. So I am certain that they do believe that they're better than other Suel, which is okay because, you know, I believe I'm better than them. So it's all fair.
Very cool. Now, Pluffet Smedger's going on again about how piracy is a main...
This Pluffet Smedger talks a lot, right?
Yes.
Well, he's Iridian, so...
Yeah, so...
he's part of the Scribes Guild, unfortunately.
It sounds like the Crimson Fleet... they're all Suel-based pirates.
Yeah,
yes.
I can answer that one.
Even the Crimson Fleet.
This might be in my area of expertise.
Okay, Mike.
So, if you go back to the Suel migrations, part of it, you know, excluding like the Duchy of Ernst, Keelan, a lot of the Suel, they said, were driven to the extremes of the continent, you know, to the barbarian lands, to the jungles, you know, to some of the fringes, right? I would say by extension that might go to your pirate groups, these coastal communities, sea princes, high port, etc., who took to piracy. They're making their living by raiding or trade on the waters because the Iridians control the mainland trade.
Okay. Interesting. So I have. I'm going to save Jason's question for when we jump into this whole book. That, you know, I try not to touch that much, but sometimes I'm forced to touch this book, right? But I just have to, right? So, what do you, Lord Brezen? What do you think of the far peoples, like the barbarian tribes, the ice, snow, and frost barbarians? What's your opinion on that? They're mostly pure souls, correct?
Correct. So this is where it gets interesting. Remember I stated that the Imperial Basin had an outlet to the south?
Yes.
Right? The sea?
Yes.
So as the Suel were going over the past, the harsh past, to colonize the Flannes prior to the Reign of Color's Fire, they were also a seafaring race to the south. So amongst the islands down in the southern, in the Pearl Sea and whatnot, you will find many colonies that the Suel founded before the Reign of Color's Fire.
Okay.
When the Suel were at war with the Ulman Empire. So much south, much further south.
Yeah,
than
I can't go.
You can't even go there. Of course, yeah. Unfortunately, map maker Anna has been slacking off.
Yep.
Hasn't mapped that portion.
Oh man.
Yes.
But it's okay. So the ships, as they colonized that sea, rumor has it that some ships went around the Ulman Isles and up the coast and colonized the Lendor Isles, the Lordship Isles, and the northern coast. So prior to the Reign of Color's Fire, there were already some Suel up in north, up in what you call the ice and frost and snow barbarians.
Okay.
And then when the Reign of Color's Fire happened, some other tribes moved up there and added to the existing villages that were already there.
Okay.
Now, they say also that as the Suel were going up the coast, they encountered a strange continent known as Fireland, where they mixed with the existing inhabitants there and traded knowledge, naval knowledge. And that's why the ships up in that area are so distinct.
Okay. Maybe one day we'll find out a little bit more of that from that Mr. Carlos as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So I have a question here, because you brought out a lot of the sleepers who have, this Wednesday night is like, it must be like a Jedi summoning or something, because you brought a lot of them out. A gentleman named Malden is here, and he has his own realm way down
And
here.
what is he? Is he a peasant or is he?
I don't.
Well, I'll leave that for you to decide.
Yes. So we have his realms of Melkashia right here, way out here.
He runs the city, so
Yes.
Well, so it's a noble. He's one of my people. Excellent.
Mhm.
Yes, there he is. So, yes. I guess he's Suel as well, right? Correct?
Well, according to Pluffett Smedger, he's a Suel. Yep.
Okay, excellent.
All right, there you go. So he's got his own little lands here.
Skeletal of a workers' union.
So I noticed Melkot is on the west side of the Hool Marshes.
Yes.
Yep.
I remember seeing a flyer that you put out earlier, Lord Buzumba, talking about the economics of the Flaness, where you talked about all the benefits of the marshes that you could get there. So it's a very good place to put a city. You get a lot of riches out of the marshes.
Yep. Absolutely. Plus, you're always busy with all the Wash Street followers coming out of it all the time, and dragons and all sorts of other things coming out of this area. It's a area rife with adventuring opportunities all the way through the whole. So very, very cool. So, okay, Anna, and before we go to this, because hopefully we will not get, we'll stay in character and stay on the side of. I think we've been safe so far with commentary. Anna and Mike, any questions for Lord Brezen?
So many.
Go for it. Give us one.
Yeah, Mike, come on. Yeah.
Let's see. So, Lord Brezen, have you heard of the saying among other cultures about Suel? When all the Suel loys have left the table?
Oh my.
When all the Suel boys have left the table?
When all the Suelois, that's Suel plural, I assume.
Right.
It refers to how nothing can get done or no deals can be made until the Suel are out of the room.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've never heard that expression, but I can understand that because the other races are very nefarious, right? And we'd keep them on the short and narrow, make sure that they do the right thing. And if they don't like that, right? Just look at what happened at the signing of the Pact of Grayhawk, right?
Uh-oh.
So all of these nobles go in there and they're signing things up. And the Suel turned their eye for one moment. They just didn't watch. They didn't watch that Bakluni, right? That Rary, that sneaky Bakluni.
Yeah.
And what did he do? Chaos.
Sabotage.
So that's the problem.
Well, I would hypothesize if Rary had been stopped, that a certain Suel group would have sabotaged it eventually anyhow.
Oh, you're talking those bad apples, right? You'll notice that these Scarlet Brotherhoods
There we go.
are completely not representative of the Suel people. Not at all.
They like to think they are.
They like to think they do, but they're not. And I'll explain why.
Okay.
What are the Suel known for throughout history? What is the most distinguished fact of the Suel Empire?
That they killed half the other world, so to speak.
No.
Probably what they're most known for.
They're known for their mages of power. The
Yeah.
Suel are known for their magical prowess. The Scarlet Brotherhood has thieves, assassins, and monks. No mention of mages.
No mages
None.
in the leadership. This is true.
And they claim to be descendants of the Suel Imperium. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, I probably have a
You
reason
know what they
for that
are?
one too.
These are probably the misbegotten sons. You know, the ones that the children of the horse who left the Imperium and founded this little Tilvanot country and claimed to be descendants of the Suel Empire, and they have nothing in common with the Suel. And where's their pride? They don't even advertise who they are, right? Assassins, thieves, monks sneaking around, backdoor. The barbarians of the north have more in common with the Suel than these guys do with the Suel culture. At least the barbarians are honest about who they are.
Okay.
Sure.
So I got some pictures up here of a monk,
so
an
that
administrator, and a merchant from.
makes me wonder then. So if we're going off the mage, the wizardly legacy of the Suel, then that's not Keel and it's not the Sheldamar either. Because don't they suppress wizards?
That's right. So I personally think it's ridiculous. So the Grand March never had this. The Grand March, we've always had pride in our mages, which is why we have the Sherlock Academy. The mages have always worked hand in hand with the military, such as myself. I not only lead a company or a battalion as a major, I lead a battalion of men. I'm also a mage. And I'm proud of it. And I use my magics to help my fellow companions. The Silent Ones have tried to hold back the Suel greatness, which is why if you want to find the greatest Suel mages, the greatest mages on the whole Flanaess, you go to the Duchy of Ernst. The Duchy of Ernst has used unfettered mages since they founded that kingdom. So that's where you're going to find the greatest mages of the Flanaess in Ernst, because you have the Suel working for hundreds of years to perfect their art.
Do you have any names of any great mages from Ernst?
Unfortunately not. They're actually quite wise in not letting it known.
Okay.
So perhaps an adventuring party can go there and find out who they are.
So here's my question.
There are.
Is any of the circle from Ernst? Does anyone know that in chat or whatever?
Yes.
Nistel? Dromage?
No.
More family, yeah.
Ernst does have a lot of mages present in the present and in the past. The current circle is Warren Starcoat.
Warnus, that's it. Warnus Starcoat's from Ernst, yes. Okay. All right. He's high level. Okay. He's Ernst. Yeah,
As for the Duchy of Ernst magical legacy, that's where the apprentices of the Slaratin went. And so, like, if, whatever you want to call it, power magic or whatever, that high levels epic magic can be found, it's going to be in the Duchy of Ernst.
Okay. So Gerlock says there is the Mar family, of course.
The Mar family.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about it, a certain Khan of Ibal wrote a nice little write-up on that country.
Okay.
It's also in the library of Cannon Fire in Mitrick.
And it's simple as one press of a button there. There you go. So, I'm going to get scolded because I still haven't done Duchy of Ulick.
A friend of mine is
there you go.
Mar Castle a lot.
Yeah. We need to get that. We need to get that. That is the one we need to do a Mar Castle Legends and Lore. But I know Rob Kuntz. It'd be almost impossible without him.
Go on.
Yeah. Is where Ernst where C2 starts? No, it is not.
Ghost Tower?
No.
No, not technically.
Josh, come on, man.
The
here's the Ghost Tower.
The benefactor, the one who sets you on the quest, is in the Duchy of Ernst.
Right there. All right, so technically, yes.
So I think technically you might, because I think one of the hooks is that you are prisoners who are put on task to the Ghost Tower.
But yeah, it's not. It's right here.
But it's not in the Duchy now.
Okay. So, to the audience, because I've never, is Mar Castle in its final inception that is from that magazine, is it a really cool something to run, or is it something that takes
It's a
forever?
slog.
It's long, like Grayhawk
It's
Ruins.
it's a 3-5 adventure. It's high level.
Mars El Rajaki.
After this was put out, there was 2 other issues that added additional levels.
Okay.
Then there's a 3rd level that Kuntz wrote that was in a issue of Fourth Journal.
Got it.
So to run the entire Mar collection as published is a slog.
Okay.
Dungeon
I'm
crawl.
not into slugs anymore. Just too long. All right, cool. Mark Castle includes some phenomenal levels, great stuff in tradition of Castle Grayhawk and El Rajaki. So it's not, according to Grow Dog, it's not El Rajaki. It's separate. So in that tradition. All right, cool.
Yeah.
We can ask Alan Hammock. Yeah, I guess we can, because Alan Hammock will be on Gavin in a little over 2 weeks. So yes.
Yes.
Kuntz has advances for a bunch of other levels. All right.
There were a bunch of levels teased, and I don't think he finished all of them. No.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I know you don't want to talk about the Scarlet Brotherhood here, but have you? There's some like great cities of the Brotherhood. Like, isn't this one of them? Crow Turlip.
Oh.
So the Scarlet Brotherhood is a boogeyman name used to scare people.
Okay.
The actual kingdom is called the Kingdom of Shar,
Correct.
which is an insult. It stands for purity, right? Kingdom of Purity is what it stands for.
Well,
And
you see, no one speaks ancient Suel outside of the Tilvanat, though. So that's their little inside joke.
yes, well, it didn't fool us in the Sheldamore Valley.
Okay, you speak it too.
Yes, and so the this little cult down there is not as large as you'd think. There's probably only 100,000 Suel on the whole Tilvanat. That's it. Not many. In Keeland alone, there's 4 or 5 times that many. Throughout the whole Flatness, there's about 4 million people who associate with Suel or have Suel blood in them. So 100,000 is an insignificant number of people, and yet they cause an inordinate amount of problems for us and for everybody else.
Right.
So
you need to deal with them.
Well, we are. You'll notice that they attempted to infiltrate Keeland, and we shut them down pretty quickly there.
Yeah.
The Silent Ones, although I don't agree with the Silent Ones' modes of operandus and trying to stifle mages and using magic to help the commoners, and the commoners need help, right? Face it, they're not very good. So they need magic to help them out. So the Silent Ones try to keep magic in check, but at least they were able to shut down the Scarlet Brotherhood from entering into Keeland and the Sheldamore Valley proper.
Yeah, so Prophet's Measure actually says the Suel diaspora is large. The SB are just one example, and it paints the whole of the Suel race unfairly. Wow. You have him saying that. So I got
see, he agrees with you.
Yes. No, it's good. Going off of the, I'm curious, another campaignism here, Lord Brezen. So you have other dialects, particularly you have a dialect in Keeland called Keolandish. What do you think of that language?
So it works. I mean, it's a language like any other. I mean, I don't use it to cast spells, to be honest. It's a little bit cumbersome.
Okay.
But it works to communicate. And remember going back to this loving collaborative nature that the Suel have. So we embraced the Iridians and we embraced their language, and that's one of the outcomes of the goodness that the Suel have towards other people. You know, creating a common language to communicate with them.
Okay. Well, you didn't bash it as much as I thought you were going to. So very, very cool. So Prophet's Measure asks, speaking of not being able to read a map, ask Lord Brezen about the Larara. Oh man, that's bad.
Right. So the Larara were one of the houses that fled through Slorotin's tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
this Pluffit Iridian guy, this upstart peasant who keeps throwing stuff in the communique, is correct. So this tunnel was straight. I mean, Slorot didn't cast a straight tunnel. There's no reason otherwise. I guess the tunnel must hit some portion of the Underdark, so it opened up. So you have a cavern. Tunnel hits a cavern, goes right through another side. So the cavern opens up to other stuff. So the Lorera were left behind, we believe, on purpose. All things point to somebody amongst the houses that left, whether the major or minor houses that fled through the tunnel, caused them to lose their way. Perhaps it was a little bit of infighting. Perhaps it was something going back many generations. There was a feud or whatnot. So one of the houses was a bad apple house, if you will, and it ensured that they did not make it through.
So, Lord
But
Brezen.
that being said, if anybody could find out which house it is, I'm sure that there's quite a few people who would appreciate knowing who did this dastardly deed.
Lord Brezen, that everyone's come out, even Lord Robbelar is here tonight, which is
Not
amazing.
saying, I'll tell you.
Yes, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. I know Prophet's Measure's been asking questions. Let's get some questions from the audience about the Suel.
Yep.
Penguin wants to know why Iridians have sympathy for the Backlunish.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So, from what I understood reading the old lore and the old statements that were carried through the tunnel, the Bacluni, being an ineffectual bunch, couldn't defeat one of the smaller houses that was actually engaged with the Bacluni in this war on that mountain and whatnot. And so they were crying and whatnot, and they basically had Western neighbors, the Iridians, and these Western neighbors were forced out of their land by humanoid tribes far to the west of that. So these humanoid tribes far to the west of the Iridians put pressure on the Iridians, drove the Iridians out of their homeland. So the Bacluni gave them a little land called Uol to settle. And in exchange for this, the Iridians basically became the foot soldiers of the Bacluni and engaged in war on the Suel. And so that's why the Iridians and the Bacluni have some sort of alliance.
Okay. So, Mike, what would you say to that, since Ol is your baby?
Yeah.
Not entirely disputing that. I don't think it was called Ul back then. Ul is the name of the tribe that eventually took it over. So if the Urds were there first, though, it was probably called Ur or something. But
okay.
Now, who displaced the Urds? He thinks maybe it's the humanoids. Yeah, most likely. But both sides were employing the humanoids, they say. I like to think that the Orids were just trying to get away from both the Baclunish and the Suel, and they were across the mountains first, I believe.
Did we talk about the Mages of Power? Amy says. I don't know if we really did that much. No.
Well, we know about Slorothan.
Go ahead. What was it? Slorothan?
I don't know. Do we know if there was a number of Mages of Power?
Yeah.
There were quite a few.
Okay.
So the Mages of Power, most of the major houses had at least one. So now you got to understand, Mages of Power is not it's not a title they called themselves. Historically, we call them that. At the time, they weren't running around saying, "I'm a Mage of Power," have a little tabard with it on it. They were basically the greatest mage of each individual major house. So each major house had a great mage, head mage, the chief mage of their house.
So at least a dozen.
At least a dozen, but their power level would have fluctuated based on the reputation of the house and the skill of the individuals. That being said, they were extremely powerful individuals, and not all of them cast the Invoke Devastation. Slorothan, for example, we know did not participate in casting that ritual. Perhaps him and some of the allied houses, the mages of the allied houses, collaborated to create the famous tunnel that bears his name.
which means he probably either saved his personal house or betrayed them, one or the other.
He is associated as this Pluffet guy is talking. He's associated with the Naheli.
Oh, okay.
Made
Did
it
not
through.
know that. Never read that before. That's very convenient.
So
Now there is a rumor that I intend to investigate at some point,
I want to hear that.
or perhaps some of my minions will do so, adventuring parties that I hire, that a mage of power was part of the fleet that was sent to fight against the Oman Empire in the South Seas. And this mage of power eventually settled on an island somewhere in the South Seas and founded a kingdom. So somewhere in the South Seas, there's an island that is a small representation of what the Suel Imperium looked like and perhaps still does.
And that is, I can't go on the map here, right? Correct? It's too far
Correct.
south.
Yes, we're waiting for Anna to give an extra effort, you know.
Yep.
Maybe she needs a Suel in her household to inspire her to work
so
so
far.
harder.
Along similar lines, wouldn't the founder of the Lindor Isles have possibly been a major power?
Perhaps. Like I said, there was a fleet that did go up the East Coast around Atlantaland. Perhaps one of them founded those lands.
Okay.
I have a really good question for you from Extort. Okay, so Derek asked, so Lord Brezen seems like a worldly man and knows many languages. What languages do you speak to your god, to women, to men, and to your horse peasants?
Oh, awesome.
that is a, yes.
Yeah, do horses speak Suel? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Understand Suel? Yeah.
yeah. So as usual, to women, you speak Suel. It's a very romantic language. I believe, you know, you guys call it French in your world.
That's funny.
So yeah, so you speak Suel to women, Iridian to the peasants, and Bakluni to the animals.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yep.
I'm going without being completely mean to the Bakluni culture, right? Okay, we'll try and keep it a little above board here. Have you ever come across a Bakluni that you did like?
That I did like?
That you did like, and that yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I was actually visiting Thornward.
Okay.
And as you know, Thornward has the four quadrants, right?
Right.
Yeah. Controlled by. And there was this Bakluni belly dancer, and she was gorgeous, and she danced so well. I remember she would bend over and she'd shake her head to the point that you could no longer see the features on her face. It was swinging so much. She had two attendants who had a bucket.
I asked the question.
And they'd have sponges, and they would wash her down with these sponges between dances. She was sweating so much. Her, I liked very, very much.
I asked a question. I apologize for asking that question, everyone. Oh my gosh. Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, well, I think we're okay still. I think we're okay.
We almost got to 100 episodes.
Yes. Almost.
Exactly. We'd be shut down before we get to 100.
Almost to 100, yeah. So, Moose asks, does he think I should return my staff of Suel law? That's a.
I'm talking about belly dancers, and he's talking about his staff of Suel law. Are we allowed to talk about that online?
I'm imagining it's a magical item and not
mine is a magical item as well.
Appendage. Oh my gosh, and not appendage. Yes. Yes. Okay. So Moose, I think you should do it as you decide there as that answer. I don't think.
But not with Bakluni.
Yeah. We really need Anticarus here, exactly, and we haven't seen Anticarus lately, but maybe we'll have him on. Unfortunately, Lord Brezen, you know, we sometimes rotate who we discuss, and maybe we'll have another Black Loonish episode, and you'll have to be in the audience for that, unfortunately, because we won't get anywhere. So, do what thou will is the whole of Suel law. It seems to be that way. So, what can you tell us about what is going to happen in the future? And I'm not talking about specifics in the timeline, because you may start in 576, 569, 581, 600. You may start. Give me some generalizations there, Lord Brezen, if you can.
Well, I'm not a diviner. I'm more of an evoker.
Okay.
Right? I prefer battle magics. Divination, you may want to check with some sages in Neil Dra. They're a little bit more. They're more skilled in that area. The Grand March were much more battle mages, if you will.
Right.
If you ask where we're going to go, I personally think that the Scarlet Brotherhood is going to be defeated. They're a blight. They insult our people.
I like it.
That demigod Ayus deserves to be removed from the face of the Farlands. There's no room for demons and devils in the Farlands. They belong in their own planes. Hopefully, like I must say, the Iridians are well known for their martial prowess. They have many gods of war, and I have strong faith that the Furiandi forces will be able to deal with Ayus. As you know, during the Great War, during the Northern Crusade, when Ayus attacked Furiandi, Keolan sent several legions there to assist in fighting against Ayus.
Listen, we agree on one thing, Lord Brezen, and that is that I see the Keolanders as like, I know that we're going to laugh at this, but as like the Dunedain of Grayhawk, right? As the higher, that's the way I see them. So I kind of agree with you there. The Keolanders have always bailed out a lot of other, right, Puffet's measure? They've always bailed out a lot of other kingdoms. So I kind of agree with you on that. So.
Well, the Keolanders, the reason the Grand March exists is because Keolan's military is not the equal of that of the Iridians.
Okay.
The Grand March was formed specifically in case Furiandi attempts another short war with Keoland. Right.
Interesting.
Yep.
Kind of the buffer.
That's correct. And it shows because in Joff, it's the Grand March that it's predominantly the troops there to help liberate Joff.
So
Grand March went into Bissell to help Bissell out.
I have to ask this, and please don't say anything that's going to get me banned. So right nearby your ancestral lands here that you have is the Duchy of Ulick.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of elves.
Correct.
Mostly high elves, but some sylvan elves. And then you have dwarves in the Lord Mill Mountains. You also have a lot of halflings in the County Villic. You also have gray elves in Selene. You have a ton of gnomes in the Iron Hills, all within a stone's throw of where you call home. What are your thoughts on the demi-humans?
So this is, remember that the Suel gods are predominantly good. The demi-humans gods are predominantly good.
Okay.
Suel have always had good relations with demi-humans. You'll notice that in the Iridian lands, far to the east,
yes,
very few demi-humans.
Well, yes. We're talking about
because the Iridians are bad people. They do not play well with others, unlike the Suel, who embrace the different cultures in the countries we formed.
Okay. Literally embrace. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why there's a lot of the demi-humans feel comfortable living next to the Suel and the Keolan.
So Puffet's measure says lots of half-elven among the Suel, oak fever.
Some would
to be
say,
honest, the Suel the elves are a beautiful people.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can see why. I mean, I'll be honest. Queen Yolande, who I've met once or twice,
really
is quite attractive.
Ooh.
So I'm looking forward to my visit after I'm done with you to go hand over my trophy of a Claver's head. looking forward to spend some time with her and her relations. Now, the interesting thing about elves, as you well know, is their view of carnal desire is less inhibited than amongst the humans.
See, now you get banned.
So,
well, Lord Gazumba himself is half elven and hails from northern Selene here, the
Yeah,
Destrul
see?
estate right here. And, you know, the elves have always been fighting on the front line against the humanoids of the Sus and other vile forces. So alliances, no matter what published sources say, are always welcomed. So there you go. Good to know. Good to know that you view the demi-human race as all with all of them, correct?
no. The elves are beautiful.
Oh, okay.
The dwarves are dwarves and gnomes are very skilled.
Okay.
Although my cook is a halfling, the halflings are excellent cooks. And the nice thing about the halflings as cooks is that they're very easy to store, right? They don't take a lot of room when you're done with them.
Okay. I missed that, but yeah. So halflings are just there, is what you're saying. So
Yes.
okay. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, maybe you need to write a side quest, Amy. Definitely. So let me see if we got any questions. Has Lord Brezen heard tales of what happened west of the Imperium? What is there now? Good question.
Yeah.
So, from what I've read in the library of Cannon Fire up in Mitrick when I went there a few times, legend has it, and of course, this information within the ancient Imperium and even west of it gets more and more vague and difficult to ascertain truth from fiction as you go further west.
Mm-hmm.
The Bakluni Empire and the Suel Imperium, at their height, were very powerful empires. Many troops. Basically the Suel Imperium had 20 million people, which is basically the whole population of the Flat S.
Wow.
20 million people lived in that basin at their peak. They never went west. The Bakluni never went west, which tells me that the lands to the west of those empires were not desirable. Either they were arid, either they were not good for growing, they probably didn't have a lot of resources, so there was no reason to go west, which tells me that whoever lived there were probably either nomads or humanoids or people who could not form a cohesive force to move eastward into the better lands.
Okay. Very interesting observation, Lord Brezen, on that. So, what personally is up for Lord Brezen now beyond the head of La Calavra? What are you looking to do in the future here? Since we got about 20 minutes here.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, we are participating in assaults in Joff to try to free those lands from the giants.
Oh, so you're helping the Flan?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Suel do, right? We help the other races.
Okay.
I mean, they can't really stand on their own, right? So we need to get in there and help them out.
Okay. So you're in there, and how many people are in your adventuring party, by the way?
So this is interesting. So my battalion was several hundred, but I have been tasked to lead a much smaller group just for special missions.
And you are the leader.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. I inspire my fellow squad members with my words and my wisdom and my looks, right? Because you want to go into battle making sure that your leader looks good doing it. Otherwise, your troops lose morale. So I ensure that I always dress very well so that my troops don't lose their faith.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. All right. That is an interesting. Yes. Yes. That is an interesting way to look at it. It's better to look good, I guess, than to That's the most important thing about combat prowess.
Let me tell you something that my father told me. There are many beautiful women out there. And it is just as easy to marry a rich, beautiful woman as a poor, beautiful woman. So marry the rich one.
Okay.
Right?
Makes sense.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask a question. No, I better not. No. All right. So would you rather marry, I'm going to really get in trouble, a beautiful, beautiful Suel Iridian woman who is wealthy, or a poor Suel woman? And I won't comment beyond that.
Is she noble?
The Suel Iridian woman is noble, yes.
Then for sure the noble. We want to keep the noble house pure.
Okay, but even with the Iridian bloodline.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Remember, I'm from the Grand March, right?
Okay.
I'm not a zealot of purity.
Okay. I was interested in that question. Malden, who's been involved tremendously in tonight, with his Malkosia, perhaps a bit of a sore point. It's ironic that the fire wand of the Sulwees was actually made by a Bakloon. Good point there.
That is ironic.
It is ironic. Ask him about the Ashen Staff. There you go, Brezen.
I'm not familiar with that artifact.
Okay, so Plovit, you're going to have to put that in chat if you want to discuss that, because I'm not familiar with it either. Hey, Hagar, what's going on? All right, so Mike, Anna, any final questions?
Yeah, I have a kind of an interesting question. Meaning the continent is normally labeled or named as the Flannies. What's the Suel name for it? Meaning you can't have such a degrading name that you name it after one of the less perfect type of people. Meaning, what's the Suel? What do you call your lands?
We still call it the Flennes. It's a common name for it, so
okay,
change it. It's just a name.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's Malkosia, Secrets of the Twin Cataclysms. Thank you so very much. It is Malden Malkosia lore, which is awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
And the link is there. Please, everyone, take a look at that if you so may. Very, very cool. Always find some great lore and some great ideas on Malden's site.
Suel is
brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Good.
We'll have Malden on a cabin soon, once school is over.
Yeah.
To get over those darn specialty priests finally. So that will be coming in the future. Any other questions for Lord Brezen?
No questions. Brezen has all the answers. So I think.
Yep.
Would Lord Brezen ever be caught dead in an Applebee's in Nyrond?
So I have passed by
Gary.
I have noticed that name on a map. Unfortunately, somebody did try opening an Applebee's in the Grand March. It didn't quite work out.
Okay.
You took the apples and chopped his head off. Yeah.
Yeah, well, eating the apples, you're getting stung by the bees. It's not very productive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is a good halfling name, mystery for Applebee's.
Yeah.
So
actually,
it is.
mystery in my home game amongst my friends, that is how we name the halflings. You just first and last name food chains.
Yeah.
So you could go Hardy Applebee.
Wow.
You have a Burger King.
That's
too?
awesome.
Yeah, it could be Burger King McDonald.
Yeah.
So you just
That's almost like a Blood Bowl name though for those.
Yeah,
halflings.
but it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, so Lord Brezen, what would you like to say in summary for this discussion? You may want to go on a bit here. So, what would you like to say to the enthralled audience for this discussion?
Well, just generally speaking, in that the Suel as a culture is multidimensional, right? There are many houses, many different ways to enjoy the Suel culture. Each house could be made unique, with unique skill set, unique character, unique ways of working. And when you travel, bear in mind that it won't be the same wherever you go. So people can adventure differently with different in different ways using the Suel.
So Gary just did a Billy Madison quote. If you remember when he answers that question in the test, and he's like, 1 hour and 45 minutes later, I feel dumber. That was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
But are you not entertained? Come on, this is we got to have a little bit of a lighthearted discussion
you have to have
here.
a kind of a laid back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
chips,
yes, entertainment. Sometimes we got to have it a little lighthearted here.
Yep.
Wow, Lord Brezen, thank you so very much. And if you want to come out of character and have Rich appear to do some shout outs as to what's going on so much in the Cannon Fire world as we're discussing, especially with your post fest, that may be something you may want to do during the shout out period. Any other final thoughts for Lord Brezen before we go to
I must say that Suel is an interesting, provocative part of Grayhawk that adds character to the setting. I must say that, and Lord Brezen is a very interesting, good example of it. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're very, and the nice thing about them is that they have no representation of an Earth culture, right? They're very Melnibonian. If you're going to play,
they're civilized.
Yeah,
it is a very cool concept that I know is lacking in my game, and I don't know if my tuna fish sandwich forgetting players could ever get to that point of playing human cultures.
They can't play
I
Suel.
don't know. I just don't. It's something that's lacking in our game. I mean, they're great at playing half elves and stuff, but really, I always keep my Winchesters all Suel Iridian mix. Kind of on the uppers themselves, but I don't play the disdain for the Backloony or anything like that. So I have a son talking to me here. So Mike or Anna, please comment for a second here.
Okay, yeah, Mike, what's your take on the Suel? Yeah,
Suel, I don't know if I have. There's so much already been said. I actually have an article that will probably be in a future Orth journal that is about Suel. Suel books, famous Suel tomes, or something to that effect. So I can't wait for y'all to see that.
Cool. Yep.
So,
yeah.
Awesome. One last. Good.
My opinion is if you're going to, and I'm going to get out of character here a bit.
That's okay.
If you're going to play a Suel as a role play for fun, I think the key thing to harp on is pride, right? And for good or for ill, right? Pride either in your looks, pride in your abilities, pride in making sure things are done right, pride in supporting your party members, pride in making sure, if you're a cleric, pride in making sure none of your party members die because you're not casting a healing spell fast enough. So if you play your character, it's all about pride, right? And it comes also with the bad side, which is you're prideful a little bit. And that's, so you could really play, so Lord Brezen is lawful good using alignment system. So I play him like a paladin, if you will, which is possibly the dumbest thing you do for a magic user, right? With my 4 hit points, whatever the hell I have, right? So as a magic user, I play him as a paladin. I'm the first one through the door. I'm walking around at the head of the column when the cavalry charges and all this stuff, which is ridiculous. I'm always scared to hell whenever I play Lord Brezen in the campaign. But it's that idea of pride that you have to instill in your character, and then you can really play the Suel and have a lot of fun with it, right? And that's where
Gary did ask a question about a big Suel mystery that a DM could elaborate on. Do you have any like a game idea?
Like a game idea, like
a thread that it could be developed.
So what I'm doing in my Buccaneer game is I have the guys south of the Orman Isles, and I'm doing this whole thread where I'm exploring the Pearl Sea with the fleet. So I call it the Legacy Fleet that left Suel, which is the port city to the south of the Suel Empire on the coast. So it sounds, yeah, it's called Suel, basically Zerbo's gate to the oceans, blah, 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 for the Suel type thing. So they just shortened it to Suel. And so they sent a huge fleet to fight against the Oman Empire. So the interesting thing is, near the end of the Suel Empire, so around minus 800 common year, the Oman Empire was in that same area. And the Vecnuna Occluded Empire was also existing. So all three were existing there. So the Suel fought against the Oman down there. So they left colonies left, right, and center of those southern islands. And they've evolved in different ways. So you can have a lot of fun campaigning down there. So that's something that's not explored. If you want something a little bit different than just what's in the folio and everything else. But I mean, honestly, there's so much material. If you read the postcards on Cannon Fire for each country, there's enough material there to run 20 years of campaigns, just going from country to country and different feel. Right? Every country feels differently. And the different authors did such a fabulous job with these postcards to give each country a unique flavor. So I enjoy it. I get the postcard entries from the author and I do a little bit of editing. And every time I read it, I think, okay, I got it. My next campaign's got to be here because it's so cool. Then I get the next postcard. I'm like, okay, maybe my next campaign is going to be here because this one's so cool, right? And they're all unique. So it's really fabulous. So if you haven't had a chance, do so. Go on touring the Flaness link to the left of the Cannon Fire webpage and just flip through those postcards to get a feel of how different authors describe the different countries of the Flaness to adventure in.
Overall, Canadian, it's bigger. Not the entire globe is bigger than Earth, right, Anna? It's not just the Flaness.
It's almost identical size.
Is it identical? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 200 miles difference. I forgot it.
Okay.
I think Earth was said to be 200 miles smaller than Earth, but it depends. Yeah, it depends more how
right?
If it's flat, meaning Earth it's not a perfect sphere. It's flattened at a pole and the poles and stuff. So but according to some articles and some sages and stuff, they say that Earth is a perfect sphere, which I don't think so, because you have continents poke up out of the ocean and stuff like that. So it is not a perfect sphere. Just look at it in the terrain. So, but it's roughly. It's a little bit of change in between, but not much. So you can say it's roughly the size of Earth. Yep.
Very cool. All right. Yeah. So hopefully, are you not all entertained for tonight? I think this was a fantastic little change up that we tonight, bringing someone into character. And Rich, thanks for this. This is awesome, man.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was definitely a lot of fun, especially when you got your mic fixed.
Yeah. My laptop, like I said, it's the first time I'm using a laptop to do one of these streams. So.
It's understandable, man. Absolutely understandable with that.
Now it
That's
works.
what I use.
Yep.
So, all right, let's do some. Get this. And I know, Rich, you did some shout outs there. With Cannon Fire, and I linked it all. So, anything you want to talk about with Post Fest?
I would. So, basically, myself, Les, and Gary. So, Oblivion Seeker and Pluffet Smedger and myself are editing the current articles we got from the Post Fest. So. We're up to 58 pages.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And we're expecting another 20 or so to come in. So it's going to be about 80 pages of post-fest goodness. And the neat thing about it is every article is different. So it's all about the Underdark or related to the Underdark. So some are about the fauna of the Underdark. Some is the low road through the Lord Mills. There's some about the true ghouls. There's Drow in there. So there's a little bit of something for everybody in this Post Fest. So this is going to be really, really cool. And depending on how well it goes for the audience, so maybe we'll get 15 different authors or something like this. Once this is done, the next Post Fest is going to be about water. So underseas or naval or boats or ships or ports or all about naval.
Navies of old.
Yeah. So if you have never posted, don't worry about it. It's a Post Fest, which means it could be a short article, a long article. Just submit it, when we put the call out for this, and we'll edit it. And even if you've never been an author before, just do it for fun, because it just goes to the community, so nobody's going to judge you. So
Yeah.
just go ahead and post. It'll be a blast.
So please note the following. There will be a minor connection to a post-fest Saturday night. All right, in the game with the new Grayhawk All-Star group. The group name is not announced yet, but there will be a connection that I have created in the adventure with Anna and Tony Winslow-Brill and Stella and Eric Mengi and Eric Boyd and Eric Greenwood. Okay, so just note that with permission of Rich and our wonderful Grayhawk musings, David Leonard. So just note that. So some cool things. Yeah. So it's exciting. It's exciting what's going on, Rich, in the community now. And we've talked about it a lot. And thank you for being a part of it and for contributing. Always is fun. So no, we're not doing no stupid names there, Casey. I had enough dumb names. No fodder cannons. No. No Omega Patrols, no Live and Let Die, none of it. No
Forgotten Party.
Yeah. Greenwood is not a halfling or elven in his game. Ed Greenwood will be playing a human. I'll show you.
You know what? Why don't you make them all female and related and call them the Seven Sisters?
That's just wrong, man. So it's funny you say that. Look what I have in my hand right here.
Oh, there you go.
So suck on that. Now I lost my stuff. All right, so I don't have it. I don't know what else to say. So,
yeah, you said it all.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly there, Gary. You got it. So Mike, what's going on with you, man?
Well, I happen to be playing a flan in a certain Suel campaign, so I got some more insight into what's going on tonight. Other than that, I'm playing in and running games. I am involved in the aforementioned Post Fest, so hopefully my Underdark entry lives up to the 80-page hype, and
it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the one after that, because I can definitely dish out something Sea Princess related for the seas. In the meantime, I've been enjoying David Leonard reposting some of my old Grayhawkery posts on Facebook. I saw one today that I'll put a link here in the chat that just cracked me up because I didn't remember posting this one. It's a bunch of puns and stuff, D&D related. Puns.
Very cool.
So have fun with that.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I think, well, it's none of my business to tell you what to do, Mike, but you should get back to doing some kind of all campaigning. I think everyone would want some stuff and all.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's time.
It's weird because
just
the last time I actually ran an old campaign was right at the start of 3rd edition. It was a second edition campaign.
It's like 20 years ago, so you need to. Yeah, you need to do
I've
it
only
again now.
wrote about all, not played it.
Okay.
It's time. It's time.
It's time.
Yep.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, right now my schedule is pretty full, but I'll put that one on the back burner.
No, that's good to consider.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anna, what's going on?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to have the pleasure of playing in Nagoya Joe, Brian Wakenham's campaign. I'm going to play an Allman priest, Sipoka, and she is trying to get. She's like an ex-gang member who's trying to better herself a little bit, so get out of the worst of the Allman. Yeah, we should not go into it, but it's kind of it's Allmans are Allmans, so yeah. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it seems to be an awesome group of players. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then otherwise, when it comes to the Grayhawk mapping, I'm kind of lost in all over the planet right now, and have been for the last 3-4 weeks. And I have one more blog post in that series of mapping the planet now. So I'm working on that. It might take a little bit longer before that one is done because it's a little bit more work. I've done the climate, came out a few days ago, and that was received. I'm just amazed how well received it, because I thought this was going to be a very testy topic and so on and so forth, but it's been really well received. So and we have to realize this is the first version, so there might be tweaks that might be needed down the line, so to speak, and also very, very just rudimentary mapping. We're not talking details here. We're talking the basic layout and geometry of the planet, so to speak. So it's a base thing. But I did the climate, and that was a lot of fun and thorny and tricky a bit too. So I got a lot of feedback. I got more feedback from this positive too than hardly anything I've done before. So it's kind of amazing. So I had planned originally to do 2 articles, but it will be 4 before it's done at least. Yeah, so there will be a cool one coming, the next one. So then I will take a little pause on this and start using it and integrate it into, start using it, because a lot of people said, oh, I have no real need for that in my game. No, but you see, the idea of this map was not so much that people should use it straight in their gaming. It was more as a base for me to map from, so to speak. So to create, and especially the climate map will be a base for my texturing and stuff. So I have an idea of what the thing looked like and what it should look like, so to speak. So and the other thing is to if I'm going to start using GIS and stuff, I want to know where the Farlands is, and then it's kind of where the Farlands is, then you have to kind of figure out where the surroundings are and stuff. So that's why I wanted to and I've always wanted to dive into this, but I've always been kind of, it's been a scary topic to get into, but it turned out better.
Can we choose?
Yeah. Yeah, oh, that's standing. Yeah, we can have the poop emoji map symbol. Yeah, that's an interesting. That's a really interesting one. Yeah, so we can have a poop emoji. Yeah.
Everyone is like, tonight is a little off after that.
We need to. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So very
yeah.
cool. And I'm glad to see you're playing in that game. Is it the first session of it?
Yes, yeah, we've had a session 0 and stuff, so we will first live session, real session. So
very cool.
And then I will have on Sunday, I will have a session on my game again. So we hopefully good to, and it could be level 1. Yeah, level 1 D&D 5e. So yeah.
Everyone says they're mentally scarred tonight. Well, we'll get over it, because let's just say, we've had a lot of unbelievable guests on in the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's been crazy. It's just going to keep on rolling here. So let's go over what's going on here on the channel. So tomorrow night we're going to continue. If you have not, do I do it? Do I really scar everyone? You may see this again tomorrow night. Why not? We've scarred people enough. You may see this.
Uh-oh.
No.
Okay.
Give him the tongue. Thanks for the lick.
So there. So the mongrels, I finally removed the tongue from a PC last week. From the mongrels of the putrid tongue. And now, of course, everyone knows that's Crazy Tim with the mongrel. Yes, and that is fake. Yeah, okay. So I got to play that. One of Walt's characters got held and he got his tongue removed. His fighter clerk mage didn't cast a single spell. So, yes, I removed the tongue.
Ooh, a mage without a tongue?
Fighter clerk mage, yeah, absolutely. So there you go. I know it's kind of gross. That's Tim. Tim is great on dramatics there. So we got to see that last week, and we'll finish that up. And wait a minute, let me get the shout outs here. So note, tomorrow night we go, and let me see, it should go in, whoops, double click. It should go right there. There you go. Saving Silent Cliffs is the mongrels are in the Cairn Hills, their home base outside of Diamond Lake. Anna fortunately put it on the map for me. As you can see, here it is on the edge of Diamond Lake, and that's where they are. And they're out they're hunting the mongrel faction that's out there now, and dealing with that. And that is Tuesday. Now we go. Thursday, tomorrow night, and it's a Reaper Miniatures giveaway, so another monster giveaway. But then we go to. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I'm prepared, and that is Saturday night. So we get to see this unbelievable group of characters. This is not a one-shot, everyone. This is going to be a reoccurring group, added into the mix of all the other reoccurring groups that I do on Saturday night specials. Yes, that is the Ed Greenwood and the Eric Boyd, just two unbelievable names, along with Eric Mengi, who's a big name, Stella, who's a fantastic player and streamer, Anna, and Tony Winslow Brill. Tony, who has the final, the highest level Xanthoria in this Candlekeep Mysteries. And by the way, I'm converting this to Grayhawk, that adventure, and I'm going to run it live stream very soon. So you're going to see a Candlekeep Mysteries adventure run live stream on my Thursday nights. It could be as early as next Thursday. Just letting you know. That group.
What is the level spread on that book?
1st to 16th. There's 16 adventures.
Okay.
And hers is 16th. Now, in 5e 16th, it's probably like my 1e, 2e, maybe 13th. So, so I will be running that. But note, this adventuring group is really cool. We have some unbelievable characters. And if you want to know, Ed Greenwood is playing Ravalantar, a Grayhawk mage. There's a little pic of him. Young 23, Grayhawk mage is his class. We will go over that class Sunday night, along with some other things that we will discuss on Gabin 145, which is spicing up your magic user class. So we'll go beyond what I've done, and this is for all classes, adding spells, adding some special abilities, the Necromancer, the Zeb Cook Wild Mage, the Elementalist, the Shadow Mage, and the Grayhawk Mage that we have, some customization. We will talk about that on Sunday night's Gabin. But beyond that, we got the next two Gabins after that set. The Gabin the Sunday after, another special guest. We have Chris Promise on. All right, that's going to be an awesome one. Green Ronin Games, the Slavers, a lot of other things that he has done. It'll be a great discussion. And then just finalized or just working on this the week after, we get Alan Hammock on, the creator of A3, the creator of Ghost Tower of Inverness. So we got a lot of really fun guests.
I hope I can see that one.
Upcoming, in the next couple weeks. So note that. And also I have a Saturday night special, another one set for the 29th, which is over the Memorial Day weekend. That Saturday night, I have a special one. I'm bringing in. This one is going to be a little different. I want to talk about this for like 2 minutes here. I am, as you know, I've been doing outreach to a lot of different communities. This group, none of them play my old school style. Now, Stella and Time Lord's wife Kayla are in this group, but I'm reaching out to some, they've only ever played 5e. So we're going to get some people who have no idea and they're all Theater of Mind players. I'm trying to get that experience to see what, thanks a lot there, Chris Solo.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Chris. So we're thinking about rating into you. It looks like you are done your stream, but yeah, I'm going to have and some of them are some Twitch partners. We're going to have a really cool, and that'll probably be a one-shot adventure, but the characters may be used again. So you'll see Stella and Kayla and Lady May and a couple other people in that one. It'll be a really interesting one. That's the end of the month. So that's what's going on. Tons of things. Plus, we'll get some discussion going on as we're getting close. Don't worry about it, man. Chris, don't worry about it. We'll take those pings all day long. Virtual Grayhawk Con is not that far away, so the discussion will be started shortly. You'll start to see posts on Virtual Grayhawk Con 2, first weekend in October. Getting in Alderaan, I'm going to raid into Guild Superior, who I know because Guild Superior is running Salt Marsh, and I kind of have a little bit of a relationship with them. So Wiley, I'd raid into Wiley, but Wiley's finishing up, so we're gonna raid probably into Guild Superior tonight. Thank you for that suggestion as well. So I don't know if I missed anything, but we got a lot going on. I'm, 4 streams in 5 nights. The only night I'm off this week is Friday. Like I said, tomorrow night we finish up the Mongrels adventure in this area here outside Grayhawk, and then Saturday's the big one, 6 p.m. East EDT. Look at that! I told you, here comes Wiley in, just perfect timing.
Hey, awesome.
Yeah. So very cool.
Just in time for the
Just
drawing.
in time. Well, he's just in time to get a shout out here, which is a good thing. So, Wiley, we're about to raid back into Guild Superior there. So, thank you so very much for coming in, Scott. Hopefully, you had a good game tonight. And everyone, please give Wiley a follow there. Absolutely. So, I don't know if I missed anything, but there's a lot going on. Zeb Cook was an unbelievable, just interview on Sunday. It was our 3rd highest stream ever. It
Learned
surpassed.
a lot in that one.
Oh my gosh! He created the Wild Mage. Who created Sigil? That is just unbelievable stuff we learned on Sunday night. And then to have Eric Mona and James Jacobs and Jason Bullman on, and had that as the 3rd highest. So their 3rd and 4th highest streams ever, those 2 nights. And this one's pretty big too as well. Thank you to Lord Brezen for that. So Lord Brezen, thank you. Anything else you'd like to say before we go off?
Yeah, if you lose your voice the next few days, I don't mind doing the Gabbins. Lord Brezen will interview anybody. He doesn't have a problem with that.
We don't have a topic for next Wednesday's Legends and Lore, and I don't have a banner for it, but 2 weeks from tonight is the 100th Legends and Lore. So we're going to do a reminiscing, and we may have asked for some special guests on. So it'll be the 100th ever Legends and Lore. The first 29, remember, we're on the Grayhawk channel, but that means we'll have 71 here. So think about that. It's been a while, and everyone likes what Lord Brezen was all about tonight, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And thank you all for, and if you always have problems finding stuff, there's all my links. We appreciate the follows anywhere. YouTube is up in the background, but yes, the Backloonish response. We need to talk about what we're going to do next week, for number 99 and see what, we'll get something worked out, because we're setting the next 3 Gabbins. So,
for the Backloonish response, we could just interview Anna's dog. I mean,
oh my gosh! Oh, Lord Brezen! Oh my gosh!
She's kind of she doesn't say much anymore. So yeah.
All right, so everyone, let's do the giveaways. If you have not, by the way, for all the newcomers in, please sign up for them. First winner, $25 gift certificate to CSL Entertainment, so you can, if you don't already own.
Thank
you. You can earn a whore in the holes by some dude, 2 dudes, Carlos Lysing and JL Scott. All right, but you can get whatever you want with that $25, and it's not a coupon; it's a gift certificate, so you got to redeem it. And then number 2, a beautiful reprint of Grayhawk: The Adventure Begins, courtesy of Patrick, Canadian Ancient Gamer. Roger Moore wrote it. It's like 2.5 Grayhawk, so it's cool. All right, so all righty, I'm going to close this out, and then we're going to. I'm just putting something in here. We're going to close these out and get and draw these winners. Then we're going to raid into Guild Superior. And here we go. Here.
Perfect.
Oh, for the Backloonian response.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes. That would be nice.
I think I want to do that after the 100th, though. I'm going to let it simmer down a little bit here. Yeah. So let me do a CloudBot here. I'm talking to myself like I always do here. Closing out the giveaways. All right. It does, Malden. It's because it's a reprint and the paper is different, so they all are that way. They're all more thick.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, they are definitely.
In a lot of ways, they are better than the original ones.
Yeah, they're nice.
The paper stuff. Yeah,
they're nice.
I'm gonna need one of them because mine's falling.
Yeah, I have a couple of reprints, and the printing quality and stuff is in many ways better than the originals.
So Casey, Living Grayhawk, we have to get with the Finnish. I have 2 Finnish contacts. The Finnish want to get on the show. It's just we're going to have to do an earlier Legends and Lore for that. But that's the next one we need to set up, Casey. I'll get with you on that, on discussing it. Like I said, everything is now concentrated for me on Ed Greenwood's game right now. So here comes winner number 1. Vamp Wickman, congrats, man! You get that $25 gift certificate to
Congrats.
Yep,
CSL Entertainment.
congratulations. Good.
Congrats. Okay. Second winner for the Grayhawk Adventure begins. If I don't have your name and address, I will need that. All right, here comes the second winner. And then please, everyone, sit tight and let's raid into Guild Superior and give them a nice showing here. And the winner is Cathay. Congrats, Cathay.
Hey,
Yeah.
great. Spread the wealth.
There you go,
Mhm.
Cathay. Congrats. And I know you're on too. Cathay, I think I have your address already. But if I don't, just whisper it to me again. But I think I have it. All
And
right.
remember, Lux Eterna is the Suel Adventure, the Sea of Dust.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So if you're gonna buy it, that's the one.
See you tomorrow night for some Reaper giveaways and some great Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue hacking and slashing, because I need something mindless to prepare for Saturday. I'm looking forward. It's not going to be save the world type of adventure. It's going to be, these characters are 3rd and 4th level. It's going to be a typical entry adventure just to have some fun. And I got to look through twists and turns and some campaign plots in there. So, but note that it's going to be something very, very even keel. All right, we'll see you all. See you all tomorrow night.
Woo.
Have a good one. Thank you for such a great show, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Lord Brezen.
thank you,
See
Jay.
you soon. See you tomorrow night. Raid setting up.
Raid.
Thank you for the raid from Fable 42. Thank you for the raid from, raid from Wally Hobbit and the gift subs from Fable 42 as he came in here. All right, here we go. Raiding into Guild Superior. All right, I know they're running Ghost of Saltmarsh, and they're a fairly new stream. Wally, you gotta hang in there, man. Hang in there, like run till 10:30, and I'll raid into you next week. Raid starting up. It's kind of Grayhawk, yeah. Oh, thank you, everyone. Oh wow, 75. Keep going.
Wow.
So, all right, over 75. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you all tomorrow night. Let me make sure I got this. Check.
Yeah, it's switched.
That was a good crack.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
that's awesome.
That was fun. Thanks, Jake.
My
Oh,
pleasure.
thank
Thank
you.